that I've done for me. He made a valley of grace where things would change, and maybe they'd take up the cross high again. The valley of grace was never the same after he had died. The love that refines. There's no sense in trying to do it on my own. He gave more than I could have known.
Welcome to Valley of Graces, Healing Our Brokenness. And today's episode is episode number 10. Pick up your mat and walk. Do you want to get well? I mean, really well. What would you do if Jesus asked you this? Would you say yes? The man at the pool of Bethesda was asked the same question. Do you want to be made well? Let's listen to the story. Sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish festivals. Now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by 5 colored colonnades. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie: the blind, the lame, and the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me to get into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me." Then Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your mat, and walk." At once the man was cured. He picked up his mat and walked. The day on which this took place was a Sabbath. And so the Jewish leaders said to the man who had been healed, "It is the Sabbath. The law forbids you to carry your mat." But he replied, "The man who made me well said to me, 'Pick up your mat and walk.'" So they asked him, "Who is this fellow who told you to pick it up and walk?" The man who was healed had no idea who it was, for Jesus had slipped away into the crowd that was there. Later, Jesus found him at the temple, and he said to him, "See, you are well again. Stop sinning, or something worse may happen to you." The man went away and told the Jewish leaders that it was Jesus who had made him well. What was the problem here? Just like with us, it appears that the man wants to get well. 38 years is a long time to be laid up sick. It seems like a silly question to ask someone if they want to get well. The natural response would be, of course. Why would I want to be sick any longer? Why would I want to lay here in this condition? However, instead of answering Jesus' question, he deflected. by talking about what someone else had not done. The question that Jesus asked is deeper than the surface. The real question was, do you want to do what it takes to be made well? We want the end product. We all have valid issues, whether those issues are physical health issues, mental health issues, emotional health issues, intellectual issues, social issues, financial issues. We could go on and on with this list, and they are all valid. However, a lot of times we don't want the work. We just want the end product. We lay on mats of brokenness from childhood for years. These are mats of jealousy, mats of the comparison trap, mats of envy, mats of bitterness, mats of unforgiveness, mats of sexual sin, mats of addictions of all kinds, mats of resentment, and the list goes on and on. Getting up is work. It is easier to blame someone else for the mats that we lay on. Getting off of our mats means the following: telling our story to help to release its power. That is the first part of getting off of the mat. Acknowledging and grieving about the pain that the other person or persons inflicted onto you. Acknowledging and grieving what you allowed the other person to do to you. A lot of times it is so easy to complain about what someone else has done to us, but we have also played a role in allowing things to get to the level that they get to because of a lack of boundaries. Then we have to acknowledge the lost time because we stayed on the mat for so long. Just thinking about that is enough to want to keep you down when you consider the length of time that you could have been using to work on yourself instead of staying in that vicious blame cycle. Acknowledging also for what it means for your future is part of the healing process. And then grieving that for what your future will and will not be based upon the decisions that you made. We also must realize that no one else can do the work of getting us off the mat and walking but us. We're the only ones that can do it, and we have to want it. No one can want something more for us than we want for ourselves. And as long as we are going, yeah, but when people are giving us suggestions to get off of the mat, we will remain on the mat. It means that we're not ready to get well. We're saying it, but everything else is not lining up with saying that we're ready to get off of the mat because we keep making up excuses. If we can't answer the question followed by action, we are still desiring somehow to make ourselves the victim. Depending on how damaged we are, picking up our mat could mean a 10 to 15-year journey in therapy. Getting on medicine, might be several medications, joining a support group, getting our kids in therapy. It could involve one of the above, or all of the above, and several more things could be involved. It's not easy, but it is worth it. In July of 2012, I picked up my mats, my mat of abandonment, my mat of low self-worth, my mat of emotional abuse, my mat of PTSD, my mat of rejection. And my list went on, and I headed into my therapist's office after counseling my first appointment 2 months prior to that. This time, I was in it for the long haul. 6 years later, I am still in therapy. I've had to press in and feel some of the most excruciating pain that I've ever felt in my life. The pain of the little girl who witnessed her mom being abused in her home and then coming home to an almost empty apartment where my father made his exit. The pain of being re-traumatized when me and my mother finally were able to move from this apartment to one that was more affordable for her, and it was broken into so many times that we lost count. And so the question remains, and guess what that question is? Do you want to get well? And if the answer is yes, get up, pick up your mat, and walk. Thank you, and have a blessed, wonderful evening.
You turn those valleys into places to learn instead of burn and perish away. And nights never so cold without His grace. How could I say that I've seen the world from His great love? How could I know what He could love? How would I've seen what He had in store for me if I didn't give up and let Him be my valley of grace, where things would change and maybe they'd take up the cross high again? The valley of grace never was the same after He had died. The love that refines. So much I wish I could give back, but I'm not intact to be sharing all of that. You took the price to give me that life, and now it's never gonna fade away. When I see I need more of Him, He whispers the sweetest of mercies upon my ears, and I won't go back the way it was again, and now a valley of grace where things would change. I've seen the lights